It was the best of times, and then it was the worst of times. Greed and corruption ran rampant, interspersed with flashes of generosity and honor. Now, emerging from the winter of despair, appears the spring of hope. In the year 2015, city halls in California have taken responsibility for funding an unprecedented level of public services. Businesses, students, philanthropists, and public officials collaborate to keep the state afloat. However, many traditional notions of democratic government are barely recognizable. Desperate measures are employed to address the collapse of Sacramento's ability to provide for the state's citizens. The first glimpse of the road to 2015 came in 1994. The County of Orange demonstrates to the country how government could swirl out of control. The cause is County Treasurer Bob Citron's doomed investment of taxpayer money based on astrological readings. Few notice the problem until the county is forced to declare bankruptcy. But similar unchecked recklessness is brewing on a much larger scale. In 1999, the state legislature approves a 3-at-50 pension plan for the California Highway Patrol. That means officers can retire at age 50 with a pension virtually equal to their salary. These generous pensions spread like a Santa Ana blown brush fire, with local governments approving similar deals for many of their employees. In 2002, the state legislature takes up its decennial task of redistricting. Legislators carve out districts that lean heavily either Republican or Democrat, districts designed specifically so incumbents don't have to worry about losing their seats in the general election. This leads to the legislature filling with far-right Republicans and far-left Democrats, partisans who agree on almost nothing and who paralyze the state's ability to approve a manageable budget. The state becomes swept up in an economic boom and fever dream of prosperity resulting from the rocketing real estate values. But by the end of 2007, the bubble is burst. Personal income falls, as does state revenues from income, property, and sales taxes. The state begins running up the first in a series of annual budget deficits exceeding $20 billion. Public workforces are slashed, furloughs ordered, businesses shuttered, and unemployment begins its climb into double digits. In November 2008, voters begin to focus on legislative dysfunction in Sacramento and approve Proposition 11, which takes the 2012 redistricting out of the hands of lawmakers and puts it into the hands of an independent commission. In June 2010, voters approved Proposition 14. This establishes a top 2 open primary designed to elect more moderate lawmakers and to facilitate Republican and Democratic collaboration and cooperation. In October, Hurley Surfwear buys the city of Huntington Beach 10 new lifeguard towers in exchange for being able to advertise on them. Coca-Cola renews its existing contract as the official beverage of Surf City. In November, voters approved Proposition 22, limiting the raid of city funds by the state, which resorts to increasingly desperate measures to balance the budget. Cities and school districts find themselves with growing public service demands previously met by Sacramento. Voters also approved Proposition 19, legalizing the cultivation, possession, and use of marijuana. Before long, the city of Oakland experiences a dramatic economic turnaround thanks to the proliferation of marijuana farmers and the resulting tax revenues. A new municipal model is established. By June 2011, quasi-legal pot cafes begin to spring up, stimulating tourism. Unemployment drops briefly into single digits, but ongoing state deficits and layoffs contribute to pushing the numbers back up. In August, Irvine leases out 50 acres of the otherwise largely undeveloped Great Park for marijuana greenhouses. Critics dub Councilman and Great Park visionary Larry Agron Orange County's king of cannabis. In January 2012, the Huntington Beach City Council agrees to sell naming rights to the city. HB becomes officially known as Kia Surf City. A fresh round of police and firefighter layoffs is averted. In September, Anaheim closes the last of its libraries and makes all of its content available online for free. Other cities follow suit. The glut of devalued library buildings for sale join vacant post offices and firehouses to further depress a still stagnant real estate market. In November, the Orange County Employees Association agrees to let Rick Warren's Saddleback Church mediate its ongoing pension crisis. Some retirees, worried about getting cut off, begin praying for the first time in their lives. In January 2013, after 2 years as governor, Jerry Brown is faced with a record $35 billion shortfall. The 2012 budget still hasn't been approved. A campaign to recall Brown is launched by Meg Whitman. In June, Whitman is elected governor after spending a record $300 million. In November, Proposition 69 to split California into 2 states is defeated. Proposition 71, legalizing sports betting, is approved. Mike Corona, cleared of a witness tampering conviction by an appeals court the previous year, is elected Orange County Sheriff. His economic austerity platform vowed that no traffic tickets would be issued, drug and prostitution laws would no longer be enforced, and violent crime would be the sole focus of the department. He sells concealed weapons permits for $10,000 each to help balance his budget. By December, the legislature is working across the aisle more than ever, but solutions are still slow in coming. In a symbol of the new era of bipartisanship, former GOP Senator Roy Ashburn and Democratic Senator John Perez hold a ceremony on the Capitol steps celebrating 2 years of gay marriage in California. Zales Jewelry sponsors the Christmas Eve event, which attracts thousands. In January 2015, the cash-strapped city of Santa Ana hires former Tijuana City Administrator Felipe Amezcua to be city manager. Amezcua agrees to work for 1/3 of his predecessor's salary and forego pension benefits. Amid a wave of school districts selling naming rights, the legislature approves a bill allowing schools to require students to serve 5 hours a week community service for their school's corporate sponsors. This contributes to shrinking job prospects for unskilled illegal immigrants who continue to flee the state. In May, a measure calling for the legalization of prostitution qualifies for the ballot. With the new corporate sponsorships, increasing use of low-cost administrators from abroad, and reduced enforcement for nonviolent crimes, many wealthier cities thrive. Poorer cities are faring worse. And for the hundreds of middle-class cities, some are doing well, and others not so well. The Google-Zahn Public Policy Institute of California finds a direct correlation between the level of citizen involvement and the quality of government provided by their city.